Are you using the free version of DaVinci Resolve? That's great. Awesome. Super cool. Are you considering moving to the paid studio version, but you don't actually know what you'll get out of it? Like, it feels like an upgrade. It's a paid upgrade, but like, what do you get? If so, this video is for you. Kind of. This video won't answer all of your questions, but mostly I'm going to point you to an amazing resource that just might. And at the end, I'm also going to talk about one little like secret perk of DaVinci Resolve Studio that like I don't really see too many other people talking about. That's to come. That'll be fun. Okay. So, what we're going to look at today is over on the support page of blackmagicdesign.com. Blackmagic is the company that makes Resolve, and as you can see here, they also make a ton of other stuff. But importantly on this main page, they have latest downloads, which is where you see like all the versions of Resolve, and then latest support notes. You can see the most current one here is actually the updated 18.5 manual, which I just did a video all about why that is amazing. But smallest of detour first, because this little latest download, you can see it has the full public release for 18.5, but if I start scrolling back, you'll start to see all the smaller bits of software they have. But then, oh, you see a Resolve update launcher for 18.1.3, and actually this is a really long list, and you can scroll all the way back to the download for Resolve Lite 11. They don't even call it Resolve Lite anymore. You can download the version of Resolve that came out in August of 2014. Obviously, you probably don't want to, but if you want to see how far Resolve has come, or if you're using Resolve, but for any reason you have an issue with a newer version of Resolve, you can always roll back. All of those live on the site. And a really fun note here, Resolve Lite 11, by the way, they used to call the free version Lite, and the Studio version, just DaVinci Resolve, and then they kind of swapped that to Resolve and Resolve Studio. By the way, Resolve Lite 11, if we just click these notes, you can see this is the free version, but if you need these additional features, you can purchase the full DaVinci Resolve software for only $9.95. In 2014, what is now Resolve Studio was $1,000. Now it's only $300. Better deal than ever. Of course, you get it with cameras and the speed editor and other stuff. That's not even what we're talking about. What are we talking about? We're talking about in this latest support notes. If you just scroll back just a little bit, you'll get DaVinci Resolve Studio and iPad features. This just came out on the 18th of July, 2023. If you're watching this video a bit later, this is the date you can scroll back to see what we're at. And actually, there were 2 docs posted this day. This one, which we're going to look at, and then this other Resolve 18 supported codex, which is just a really great rundown of, like, okay, what can I use on what operating system, like encode, decode, all this like really technical stuff. But what we want is this Resolve Studio and iPad features. This is as close to a comprehensive look at what is restricted to the Resolve Studio version and what features are officially supported on the iPad version. So if you click download, it'll open that up and you can see sort of what we've got going. We're going to end up with a list of all these features and 3 main columns. Desktop, M1 and M2 iPad Pro and iPad Air, and then a non-M1, M2 iPads. So this will run through, a lot of general features in Resolve, and it will tell you on desktop, does that require Studio? Like here, if you want timeline and render resolutions higher than UHD, higher than 4K, you need Studio. But stuff like Fusion effects and titles are just, yes, they're in there for everyone. And this is a really good example because you can see those are also included in the M1 and M2 iPad version, but the non-M versions have some limitations. And if we scroll down, we can find a few examples. Ooh, this is something I hadn't noticed before. The render cache, obviously it's in the full version of Resolve, and it is on the cut page on the M1 and M2 iPads, but it looks like it does not have a render cache on the non-M1, M2 versions of the iPad. That's super important to know, and I wouldn't have known it without this doc. So if you're considering the Studio version, you can scroll through here, see anything marked Studio, see whether that's something you need, like whether you're editing HDR stuff, whether you want some more like noise reduction, motion blur, that sort of stuff. And really fun things like the neural engine, especially in 18.5, we got lots of cool like text-based editing stuff, and that's cool. That's all in here. I talked about how much I love the reference manual with its over 4,000 pages. I love support docs. They're great. They're super cool. They're helpful. And something like this, I was sure was going to fly under the radar when I know it can be a helpful resource, especially for people who are considering that jump from the free version of Resolve to Studio. That's all. Quick video. I wanted to show you, primarily this really cool features doc, and then also like talk up the support page. It's pretty neat. We didn't even talk about the forum. The forum's pretty cool. Maybe I'll do that sometime. but not today. Thanks for watching. I was done filming and forgot, the bonus. Remember, I said I was going to talk about the bonus thing. So the thing no one really talks about is that if you have a studio license for DaVinci Resolve Studio, you can use the standalone Fusion Studio. It just like recognizes the license, and you can do it. They sell a standalone Fusion Studio with the same price as Resolve Studio, but if you have the Resolve Studio, you can just download and install the standalone Fusion Studio, hop in there, especially if you're doing lots of Fusion stuff. Sometimes if you're doing a really heavy stuff, there are some benefits to working in the standalone version, like it isn't eating up all the resources that the rest of Resolve runs. That might be its own dedicated video, because it probably deserves it. I haven't really talked about the standalone version of Fusion much, but I might. Okay, that's it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.